Music matters. SAIAH, good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm kind of nervous, but we're here
We're here
in the valley.
in the valley. What are you nervous for?
I feel like this is the first time I've done an interview in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the aspect of anything, I haven't done any interviews in like a year probably.
Yeah. Is there like a reason you didn't want to, or?
I was just working on the album.
Mm-hmm.
I think kind of just living that lifestyle. Just
Yeah.
really locked in.
I'm happy that we caught you at like an exciting time.
Nah, for real. I'm like releasing everything right
Yeah,
now.
that's so
actually
cool. When you feel like you get in that album mode, are you somebody who like, because like my roommate, for example, he just finished a project, and I was talking to him last night about how like when he's working on an album, he's like working on an album. Like it's like a lifestyle. Like he like locks himself in. Like it's like what he does. Like, do you feel like from project to project you get in modes like that, where like you just lock yourself in and that's what you're doing?
Yeah, sort of in a way where it's like I try to like make a character. Like I come up with a name at first, and I'm just like, this is who I am, and then like I like continue that aspect, and then like whatever like comes from that name, it comes to fruition from that name. It happens, you know, like whatever projects happen. Like I'm that name for a while. Like when I came out with Honest Red, I was like Honest Red,
Yeah.
like, at the time, and then like Raceway is just like a whole different story, and like it's just the stuff like that.
No, that makes sense. It is like I feel like that's one of the coolest things about like the album rollout cycle. I think first, like, because I mean, no hate to like just dropping a bunch of singles. Like I totally get it. It makes a lot of sense, even like the current landscape and everything. But I will say, like, I'm very much a sucker for like that album artist where it's like each period of their life is like a different project, a different album that's representative of that period, because they almost feel like chapters in a way, you know. It's like chapters of somebody's life. As like a listener, do you listen to like songs, or are you like an album listener?
That's a good question. I feel like I'm more of an album listener now because I'm trying to like understand the cohesiveness of like an album structure. I used to be a very just like a song listener.
Yeah.
Like, when I was growing up, I would love listening to just like random songs. Like I would listen to Gwen Stefani, and then I would go listen to like Blink 182.
Yeah.
You know, like growing up. So, but like especially nowadays, like I'm especially more of like I'm an adult now. Like I actually like to sit down and listen to an album.
Yeah. No, I get that. I think I was having a conversation with this recently. To me, it's like albums I have to be in a very specific like sedimentary place. Like I have to like sit down and like listen to a project. But like, you know, if I'm just in the car or whatever, like I'll probably just shuffle a playlist.
Nah, facts, not facts.
What is so the music you're working on right now? Like you said, is it like a full complete album? Is it like singles? Is it like everything that's coming out over 2024?
So everything's coming out like throughout 2024. Like my goal is to come out with at least 3 things this year. I have an EP, 2 EPs, and then an album.
Yeah.
And that was like the goal, like to have like just like to gain the traction, you know, like to keep pushing stuff out. And then at the end of the year, I'm gonna be like, all right, here's the album.
Are they connected like in any way, or are they like parts of a?
But it's like in the aspect of like the album is like the story, but then like I give you like the postlude and the prelude first.
Gotcha. That is so cool. I feel like that level of like world building is like such a it's almost like a lost art, but it's interesting. I feel like in the current landscape, like everything is so oversaturated that it's like you can't just release a project and that just be all you're doing. There has to be like an entire world built out around it, you know?
Yeah. And that's what I like to do. I like to build a world. I like to be a little Delulu, you know.
Yeah.
Like, this world may be fake, but like it's my world, so that's all that matters.
Yeah,
so
no.
I made it real.
I totally get that, because there is like, it's interesting, like there's like who the characters that you play through your projects or like through your musicianship or whatever, then there's like you in real life. Yeah. And sometimes those are like reflective of each other, sometimes they aren't, but it's interesting to see like the way in which they collide. Like, do you feel like the character that you represent in your music is like a representation of you, or it's just entirely you, or do you feel like you ever play like another person when you like are making projects?
Yes, I am completely the artist that you see outside. You know, like all the songs are authentic. Like the shitty shit I've done in life, like the good shit I've done in life, like everything is in the music. Like I'd never shy from that, because I feel like it doesn't work if you just like don't be who your soul is.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like even like in the aspect of like me going through that in my life where I had to like was not myself, and I was coming out with songs and they were not hitting, and I was just like, oh yeah, that's why, you know. So I feel like it's all me. It's 100% authentic me.
100%. Like I feel like it's interesting to think about this, but like I don't think there's really such a thing as like a bad human or like a good human. Yeah. I think we're all like these incredibly complex characters that like
we're all just trying to learn.
Yeah, exactly. They're like good at times or bad at times or like understand at times or don't understand at times, but it's like through experience, like it's almost like I feel like we're born as like this big just rock, right? And it's like eventually we're chiseled into a sculpture, but it's like that sculpture has to be like chiseled away from day to day experience to experience.
Sometimes it gets hard. You know? Sometimes it's hard to chisel some rock. You know?
No, 100%. What do you think, like, as you've kind of chiseled that rock and figured out, like, what it is that you want to say, what do you think have been, like, the biggest moments in your musicianship so far? Like, where has your career taken the biggest turns, and, like, what are the biggest parts of, I guess, like, the biggest leaps where you've been able to understand more about what you want to put into the world?
When I signed a $500,000 deal.
Whoa.
Last year, and then the label went bankrupt.
What happens in that situation?
So basically, there was
never even heard of that. Wow.
Yeah, there was like a label that hit me up from Nashville, Tennessee. They were like kind of stalking me since COVID. Like he actually sent me $1,000 like randomly when I had COVID, when it first came out before the vaccine, and basically hit me up. And I signed this deal. Long story short, I signed this deal. Deal was going well. I was like going on my first tours, doing pretty good. Like my monthly listeners, the highest I've ever been. Like, you know, just living life, you know. And then one day, just randomly, like I stopped getting paid, and I like was like, what the heck's going on? And then no one was really telling me anything, so I was just like alone in my apartment, like just like freaking out every single day. Like, you know. And I feel like in that moment I was just like, damn, like this is a moment of like where I was just like, either I make it or I quit now, you know. And like I feel like that was the moment in my life where I was just like, I need to like actually be more attentive with my art, and like more like have like full intuition, and like be smart with like what I preach and what I say in my music, and like just like anything. Like I feel like as I grew up, I would just say like the craziest shit in my music and be fine with it, but now I'm just like, actually this shit's mad spiritual. Like this is more than just life itself. Like this is for the heavens, this is for the angels. Like the music I make is not even of me, like it comes from the angels. Like I literally don't like, I don't like, emotions come from like spiritual energy, like, you know.
100%.
So I feel like when all that happened, it kind of like just changed my life. And then like a few other things happened, and then like I was just like, damn, like I need to like wake up. Like I need to actually, like a lot of my friends were like, yo, like you need to get your shit together, like wake up because like you're losing yourself. And I was just like, damn, like you're right. And like I've lost a lot of people, and I lost a lot of friends in life, and like I regret it, like, you know, but like at the same time, like I understand them, and I understand like when people need to like go away, because I've definitely done that to people in my life, you know? Like I was like, I need to like take my time, but like especially going through that label loss, like I feel like I like lost my fucking mind. So like I needed to like figure my shit out, and then like even the struggle of like even trying to like figure out what's the next move. Like, should I sign another deal? Should I go independent? And my new management was just like on my head, like, yo, like you need to move, you need to move. And I was just like just laying in my bed crying, like, you know. So I feel like that was the moment in my career that like was just like took the turn. It was just like, is this real or not? And like I was like, it's real. Like I'm here and I'm doing this shit. Like I like have no other choice, you know. Like I like was destined for this stuff. Like I feel like I don't have a choice but to do this stuff, because if I'm not making music, I'm going crazy somewhere. You know? Like I feel like music saved me in the first place, because I'm just a kid from Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania. Like Wilkinsburg is the slums, bro. Like it's just dirt, you know. Like, and I love my hood, you know, but it's just like if I stayed there, I'd be in a gang, you know. Like I'd just end up being like the stereotype, and I'm not trying to like live on that stereotypes or like even preach those stereotypes. It's not the type of timing I'm on.
Did you go from there straight to LA?
No, I moved to Arizona.
Oh, gotcha.
I moved to Arizona. I graduated high school from there. And then I like went back to Pittsburgh to learn how to make music. Actually, like I spent 8 months in my room alone with like at my dad's house, and I went crazy, but I learned how to make a song. And then eventually I was just like, I need to go back to Arizona, because like I knew a bunch of artists out there, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go hang out with my artist friends. And I went back, and I was like homeless there for a little bit, and like sleeping on people's couches, and then eventually, like, one day music just started working, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I was just like making friends, and like a lot of friends around me were like there for me, like my boy Pat Kanji, like that was like one of the first people to ever like give me a chance, out of anybody. Like, shout out Pat. Like, we're not on speaking terms right now, but like that's my nigga. Like, he hit me up actually like a week ago on my SoundCloud comment saying I love you and I miss you, and I was like, that's my nigga. And like, and I feel like it was just like, it was like a huge thing for me, because like I was really nervous about starting to release again, because I hadn't released in a year. And like he was like the one that commented, and I was just like, he was the first one to comment on SoundCloud, and like no one really like I like no one really looks at my SoundCloud, like everyone's on my Spotify and Apple Music, and like he was just like, he commented, and I was just like, it made me so happy. I was like, yo, that's real, like I miss you, like I love you, and I was like, text me, bro, I miss you. So
aren't those experiences like it's always so interesting when somebody in your life either, you know, takes a different turn, you guys, you know, your paths don't cross anymore, they're no longer in your life, and even people who are still are in your life, it's interesting to think about like the way that people don't know how much they affected you. There's like individuals in my life that I've spoken to a handful of times that probably have impacted me more than people I've spoken to 100 times. But they might not even be aware of it, you know?
That's what I was talking to my dad about, actually. Like, I was just like talking to him about how he inspires me, you know? Like,
how does he inspire you?
Like, he's a hardworking dude. Like, he's an electrician. Like, just like, I used to grow up thinking he was a superhero, you feel me? Like, I actually was telling him that. I was just like, yo, I grew up thinking you were a superhero. Like, you thought because his email was like Electro Tim, and I was just like, that was like low key cool. Like, I used to watch I used to watch Static Shock as a kid, so I was like making him like be Static Shock, you know? Like, so I just grew up like that, and like I was just like, damn, dude, like I really looked up to you, like you're my superhero, and I care about you. And I was just like, be a better father, be nicer to me. So like, I'm emotional, like, but like I just like, it was cool, like, to like actually like see that happen, and like the impact. And like there's been a lot of situations where like a random person at like a club, like I don't club, I hate clubbing, fuck that shit, but like there's times where I'm at clubs randomly and I'm in the corner because I'm like very like I don't like talking to people that much. And like there's times where people come up to me, ask me if I'm good, or like tell me to smile. One, I hate when people tell me to smile. Don't tell me to smile. That's such a terrible. Tell me to smile.
Also, like if someone's not smiling, you tell them to smile. They're not gonna smile.
I'm not gonna smile.
Yeah, it's like a terrible way to.
But like I just remember like there's this one time this like random girl walked up to me, and I was like going through a breakup at the time, and like she was asking me, "Are you okay?" And I was just like,
it's a better question.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm not okay. And she was like, what's wrong? And I was just like, I am literally going through a breakup, like, as we speak, in this moment. And like she was just talking to me, and she was just telling me her situations and this and this and that, and she was like relating to me. And like I was just like, I feel like it's cool when people relate to me instead of giving advice. Like I'm just like, yo, just like talk to me about your shit. I'm like, I don't feel alone now, you know? Like I'm just 100%. Like, now we're hearing this together, like So I like those moments, because it's like when you relate with somebody, it's like you don't feel alone. Like, because I like go through moments of being alone. Like even like when I was going through a label deal, like that loss, like even worse. You know, like artists get shelved. Like
no resources at all.
No resources at all. Like imagine you just get shelved. You get the money, but like you can't drop ever again.
They just give up on you.
At least I was able to go independent and like actually be able to release my album, and like. It just makes me sad to know that that's a thing that happens in the industry.
It's terrible. Yeah, I was looking at the shirts that you were selling that says like the music industry is weird.
Place.
I was like, it is, man. The music industry is a weird place. I should have
brought you one. I'm gonna bring you one next
time. Thank you. That would like honestly, I'd wear that every day. Like,
no, I got
thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm actually dropping some soon. So
dude, I'll cop one. Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, I got you.
That's super sick. Yeah, would you? Okay, so like after that deal, you going independent. How has your experience been independent versus with a label? And are you like, do you want to stay independent for the rest of your career? Or are you open to signing? Like, what is kind of the way you're looking at the future?
I want to sign $1 million deal, but like have my masters and full creative control.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, of course.
That would be really cool to have a situation like that. But right now, like I feel like I'm a little too traumatized to want to sign another deal. Like I'd rather just like become who I want to be as an artist, and like let them come. Yeah, you know. Because I live in LA. That's all I really need.
100%, dude.
Like I was like, I don't really need much. The most I know is just like, okay, you get what you do. Like you eat food, you
survive.
A little bit of art, you survive. You know, like that's all I really know. So like, being an independent artist and releasing my music and just being around my friends is cool with me.
Yeah.
You know, so like I'll be cool to sign a deal, but like right now, like I'm traumatized, like maybe because I signed my first deal when I was like 19.
Yeah.
So like,
damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. So like I'm just like, you know what, this is my first time being independent. Let me just stick with it for a little bit.
See what happens.
See what happens, you know, and like also like just. I'm traumatized.
Yeah.
So like I just like kind of just want to like play my cards correctly, and like the music industry is a funny place.
It really is.
It's really funny.
I feel like the opportunities that like I think it's such a virtue in this industry to like truly be patient as an artist. To like sit there and just trust that like the art should be the number one thing, the main intention, everything else is secondary, and as long as you're focusing on that, the opportunities will just come. As long as you're around the right people, and you know it'll fall into place. But it's like that, I think that impatience sometimes is why artists unfortunately like jump into bad deals to think that and obviously manipulation from the label. But I think it's very, very important to like remain patient, just know that like it'll come. I feel that about management very specifically. I think like you probably shouldn't really be looking for a manager very often.
You should, like, I'd like to tell like a lot of my friends that like just start off with music, like that get freaked out about not having a manager and stuff like that. It's like, bro, like management, like it's a lot. Like once they start, when you choose work with a manager, it becomes like real game. Like it actually feels weird. Like like I've had a manager since I was like 21 maybe.
Damn. Okay.
So 21 or 20, I don't know. I just like one of my first managers was his name was Adam. He used to work for Alamo Records. And no, I wasn't 21 actually. Fuck, my first manager I had when I was 19.
That's insane. When do you like officially start making music?
I've been around music my whole life. My family is just a bunch of musicians.
Gotcha.
Like my cousins back home in Pittsburgh, like they got a little scene going on out there. Like they're just like hood niggas that be rapping, bro. Like they like go crazy too. Like I be showing my homies their shit because I just be making rock music. But when I go home, they be making fun of me because I just be like a little soft nigga. Like they be like. You need to spit some real shit. And I'm like, I'm spitting some emotion, man. But nah, like shout out my cousin Kush Wilkes, shout out Zion, you know, like they really doing shit out there. Like they live in the slums right now. They trying to make it out. Like they trying to get their shit. And like I want to see them get their shit.
I think there's a lot of beauty in that contrast though. Like that's really cool that like, because it's sick that like you guys both grew up with like musical upbringings, like musical backgrounds, but like it manifested in like entirely different ways.
Yeah, I just ran away. I had to leave, you know, like I got beat up, you know, like a lot, like into like gangs and shit, like at football, like playing football out in Pittsburgh, like they like the whole team was in a gang, you feel me? So like go to football camp, you in like cabin, they wake you up in the middle of the night, pop, 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 like type shit. Like no one really knows about that type of shit. I don't really talk about that, but like just like growing up like around that, like I was always a softie too, so like I just let it happen. I was bullied. I was a bitch, like at the time. Now I'm not. I'll fuck somebody up. Like fuck with me. I'm so serious.
That was crazy, yo.
Nah, peace, love, and happiness.
I imagine like coming from that background though, and then like just to circle back to what you were saying before, like about like you don't feel like you don't need a lot. I think like that concept of like the middle class musician is like one of the most beautiful things about like this era and like the TikTok era. And it's like, dude, because I feel you on that. Like I am so grateful every single day to make any money off my art. You know, like it's a strange perspective switch, but there's like people who their entire lives like never make money off their art or get to a place where like they're able to, you know, either half or full support themselves off their music or their art. And it's such a thing to be grateful for, you know?
Yeah, I'm so grateful for it. Like I just like honestly, like I make money off my streams, so like I just buy groceries with that usually, or like go out to dinner, you know. I usually just buy food. I'm just like, hell yeah, thank you, music.
Do you remember like when you got here, or like, you know, when you like moved from Pittsburgh? Do you remember when you first got to that place, and how did that feel? Like you got to a place where like you were able to make some money off your music?
When I first moved back from Pittsburgh, I didn't start making music yet. I was still in high school. When I first started to actually make money off my music, I remember I was in my apartment It was a 3-bedroom with my boy Marcus and Germ. Germ was silly. I love that guy. He used to make shrooms, and I just was like working at this place called Delight, and like it was in Arizona, and I just remember like I would work at this place and I would just be so annoyed. Like I would just be there every single day, like cutting sandwiches, like just doing normal job shit. That was a healthy food place though, so I was like getting like a lot of like good nutrients from it, drinking coffee every day. Like it was a vibe. Like I loved it. But there was this one lady that was so mean to me, and she made me cry. Like actually so many times. And like
what did she do?
She was just so mean to me. She was like a micromanager, and she wasn't a manager.
Hate that.
She was just like, she would like be behind you like
watching
you're cutting that croissant wrong. And I'd be like, bro, how can you cut a croissant wrong? Like stop.
Also just like, who fucking cares?
Like who cares? Like I'm just cutting this sandwich, it's gonna look nice, they gonna eat it anyway. Like, but I guess they had protocol. But I just remember being there and just like cutting these sandwiches and making friends with the other coworkers there, because everyone like knew that I was a musician, and they like actually supported me. And that was like the first job that I ever really told people that I was a musician, because I was like, this is the last job I'm ever gonna work. Like I'm tired of this shit. Fire. And I told them that I was like, this is the last job. And then one day like I was just like noticing like there was a Cane's right across the street, and I never got Cane's because I wasn't a huge fan of it. But I would like look across the street, and the sign was like 999, and then next to it was also 888. Yeah. And then 888 is abundance, and then 999 is release. And at the time, I was just like, you know what? That's a sign. Just keep going. Just keep waiting. And then one day, that girl that was mean to me, made me like, I cut my thumb. I might have this freaking scar still, but she was like, she was on my back. It was the croissants again.
Those goddamn croissants.
And
man.
I was cutting the croissants. She was like, you're cutting that wrong. And I cut my thumb. And in that moment, I got so angry. Yeah. That I was just like, dude, get off of me. Like, get off my back. And then at the same time, like, the real manager was actually trying to make me one of the managers. And I kept saying no, because I was like, knew it was going to be my last job. Yeah. Wow. And I was just like, get off my back. And then she was like starting to get like little hype on me, like, you know. And I was just like, dude, like, you're gonna, like, I literally was like, you're gonna start making me cry. And then I was just like, I'm about to call the manager. I was like, I'm about to like literally tell him this and this and that. I was being a Karen. Karen to the Karen. And like,
you gotta out Karen the Karen sometimes. Hit them with their own.
And I was just like yelling at her, and like the manager came in, and he was just like trying to like calm me down at the time. He was just like, yo, like, calm down. Like, he was like, they weren't trying to fire me because they knew like she was getting like complaints, and like people were quitting because of her. And I was just like, you know what, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I gotta go. I'm putting my 2 weeks in right now. And I put my 2 weeks in. And then after my 2 weeks ended, like, I just remember leaving. I don't remember exactly when I left. I don't know what happened. I just remember I was on a call with my manager at the time, and it was with this A&R, and his name is Ernest. And it was like for this like distribution deal, right? And they offered me like $70K, and I was just like, fuck yeah, let's go.
I'm out. Yeah.
You know, I'm out. And I signed that deal, and then next day I flew to Atlanta and like had a couple sessions.
Wow. I think I relate to what you're saying a lot. I worked in food for 5 years. I just got out like recently, and there are moments like that I reflect back on and think about all the time. Like moments where like you knew that like this was gonna be it. Like I remember very specifically last not like the Christmas that just happened, but the one before that, that holiday season, that that last New Year's Eve I worked. And all my friends, all my roommates, they were like this one party with like a bunch of our homies. It just seemed super fun. And I was at work, and I remember we were open I used to work at Benihana. We were open that night till 1 a.m. We closed at 1 a.m. So that means like I was gonna be there till 2. So yeah, it was fucked. But like I remember sitting till like past like 12. No one came in, right? There was like 2 tables in the restaurant. I had one of them, and so I only had one table. It wasn't busy. I didn't have anything to do. So I remember sitting at like the bar in the restaurant and just like watching this one table. And I remember like when it was like 11:59, I remember them like counting down, like because they had like the ball thing on the TVs or whatever. I remember them counting down and like, you know, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Happy New Year, and they all like started cheering and stuff. I remember just in that moment being like miserable, and then I wrote down on my server sheet. I still have the thing; it's in my room. I wrote down like, "This is the last holiday season that I will ever spend in a restaurant.
Yeah,
and I meant it.
The restaurant,
and I got out.
Bro, the restaurant, like, that shit is traumatizing. Like, my first job was like a 5-star restaurant.
Oh, dude, I can't imagine. Yeah,
in an all-white neighborhood.
Yeah,
like,
I can't imagine.
Yeah, it was so bad. Like, that made a lot of money as like a senior in high school, but like, it wasn't.
It's almost not even worth it. It's just like, like I was just telling him, like, you come home just exhausted. Like, you come home feeling like a shell of a person, you know?
Yeah, and it just, I would just like be so sad that I was like doing that. Like, I was happy to make money because I really never understood like the aspect of making money, because my mom wouldn't let me work. Like, my mom was like that type of mom that wouldn't let me work or like let me leave the house ever. So like, I just like kind of just like wasn't allowed to do that, or like I just had to like go off of what my mom was able to buy me. And my mom, like, we grew up, like, half of my life we grew up fortunate, and then the other half I grew up homeless. You know, so like,
such a contrast. Wow.
Yeah, it was just like I grew up and I got everything I wanted, and then as soon as my mom as soon as I was like, I think 11, that's when all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I was like downhill from
The crazy thing about this country, everything can just switch in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
You can go from everything to nothing.
Lost $500,000.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I'm just joking.
What do you think? It feels like the way you speak about your parents is very loving. It's
I love
very
both
beautiful.
my parents. I care about them a lot. I just like, I wish they not like noticed that. You know, I wish they like, I wish that they were able to like receive love the way this generation's able to receive love.
Isn't that interesting? Like, the difference in the way that like our generation versus our parents' generation think. I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and he made a very interesting observation to me. It's like, I think a lot of the reason why our generation, like, I think does have a better understanding of like, you know, social issues and like, you know, like the violence that happens in the world, and just like probably a better understanding of just like suffrage in general. And I would say is more empathetic as well. I think a big part of that is like, we grew up in a globalized community with the internet, whereas like our parents' generation grew up largely in localized communities, and then they branched out to globalized communities when the internet was introduced. And interestingly enough, like, I think connection does breed empathy. Like, I think the more connected we are, the more we understand people. Because I think like so much of ignorance just comes from misunderstanding. I think people just don't understand the experiences of others, and then therefore very often like they can't relate to them, and they go off, and you know, it becomes hate.
Yeah, I had to like even speak to my dad about that recently. I was just like, dude, like, I like am a different, like, he was just like I ain't gonna front, I'm a real ass nigga, bro. I was asking my dad for help for something because I was just like I had stuttering. I hadn't like gotten paid for my streams yet, and I was like trying to like move stuff, you know, and like I was just like, Doug, like, I just need a little help, you know, and like he's just like, get a job. And I was like, I just need help right now, like only right now, like I'm about to be good like in a week or so, but like right now I need a little help. And like, not to like put my dad on blast in the interview, but like he just like was just like kept like very adamant about like the aspect of like doing this, doing that, like go work at a factory, do this, do that, do this, do that. And I'm just like, dude, like, I'm way too pretty for that.
Come on.
Like, I'm just jigging, but like, low key though. but
that thing, but I know what you mean though. Like that thing specifically is like a really like it's a very different,
like a very different train of thought.
Yeah.
Like I make money like helping people songwrite. I help like people like play guitar on a song. I do this, do that, you know, that's my tool. Like, he's an electrician. It's like more valuable for him to go work at a factory than me. You know, like I can go get a job like within music and do stuff like that, but like I don't know how to work anything in a factory. I'd probably get hurt. Like, I worked in a factory twice in my life, like growing up, because I was just like, you know, like a kid, you know, and I was just like just trying to find things to do in life. And I just remember like getting burnt by the plastic. Like,
loud ass plan.
Yeah, that was loud plan.
Jesus.
I'm just getting burnt by like ready, like new plastic that just came out, and I just like had to leave work. Like, imagine like me, like, come
Fuck
on.
that. Yeah.
Come on, Dad. Like,
yeah. I have a very interesting story about this, and it sounds like it's not going to relate to it, but I promise it circles back and does. A friend of mine, he was like, he made this, so he was like having trouble paying some bills, and he made this TikTok about like how he's trying to sell this merch, like make his rent, whatever. And I like, you know, I like liked it, commented, like reposted it, just to like help support, and I was like reading the comments, and there was this dude, just some rando on TikTok, and he commented like LMAO, bruh, get a real job. And then like I just kind of like and then it was hella funny. My homie responded and said like, "Are you hiring?" And then there was like this whole like exchange in the comments, like them just like talking. And then like I very rarely like will chime into these like comment debates, but like this one I was like, all right, bro, like I gotta say my piece here. So I just responded. And I was like, his name was Daniel. That was the guy's name. I was like,
it's always the Daniel.
It's always the fucking Daniel. So I was like, Daniel, are you happy at your job? And then he responded to me and he was like, no, it's a job. Why would I be? And then I just thought for a second. I was like,
imagine living your life just like working a job you hate.
Like, yeah, but even more so, like, imagine like not caring. Like, like imagine like I understand people have to like survive, yeah, but like imagine like not even like thinking that there was the possibility that you can enjoy your job.
There's so much things to do in life. It's limitless. Like people don't understand the collective consciousness is like, combined. Like we don't need to work a job we don't like to make money. Like most people can survive off of just being alive, you know, like doing things that they love. Like I wish more people like would tell their kids to do what you love, like, you know, 100%. Like because I grew up like where it was just like kind of conservative. It was just like, yo, like you gotta go do this, do that, do this.
It's traditionalist. Very
traditionalist. I feel like that was a better one to say. It's just like I wish to like preach more of like love, you know, like people need to like love, and like I feel like that's the way to like preach abundance is just loving.
100%.
You know, like even like the aspect of loving your enemies. You can love your enemies, bro. Like I love all my enemies, you know, like I send them love, because if you sending them hate, you're gonna send hate to yourself. That's like backfiring. Like all the people that like
are giving them power.
Giving them power, or like just like not even giving them power. It's like more of like just like even the people that like did me wrong or like I did wrong, like I just like, damn, I'm sorry, like I fucked up, like I made a mistake in my life, and like I'm just like, but out of love, like I just like you hurt me too, like I hurt them, they hurt me, you hurt me, and like it always back and forth, like that's a human like situation, you feel me? And like I realized after like processing like a lot of like just like growing up, just like realizing that like the only thing that will keep you alive is love. It's like remembering that you love this person, because the more bitter you get, 100%. The more you want to kill yourself. I don't like wanting to kill myself, you know. Like I don't like being bitter about like things that like I have no control about.
It like weighs on your heart and it weighs on yourself, and you could just let it go just as easily, you know.
And like the way to let go is to love.
100%.
Like you just gotta love. You know? Like I love that person. I hope the best for them. That's like a beautiful thing to say, and like you go to bed every night and pray for these people. Like I love that person. I hope the best. And that's like that's how I live my life. Like I wake up, I love that person. I hope the best for them. Like there's sometimes I get angry. I'm human, but like at the same time, I catch myself like, you know, going through those cycles, and I'm like, wait, I love that person. And then as soon as I say I love that person, I calm down. Every single time I say I love something, I calm down, and I've always like noticed that. Like I was just like, bro, I love this.
Isn't it wild how like that's something I've realized too? Isn't it wild how like, I'm not saying we can choose to be happy, but like how much like just the way that we like the forefront of the way that we think and the things that we verbalize, the way in which they can actually change like how we feel. Like you truly, I'm not saying convince yourself to be happy, but like if you're upset and you're wallowing in that sadness, if you can just find a way to just like attempt to find happiness, attempt to find joy, I think that's the best first step you can take, you know.
The pursuit of happiness is a personal battle.
Like 100%.
You can't ask for someone else to give you happiness. You can't even ask someone to make you a star. Like you have to be a star. Like you have to be okay with like figuring out like how to be happy within you. And like me, my whole brand is love. Like I love you say. Like that's like I just like know that that's like what keeps me alive, you know. And that's all that matters to me, you know.
How do you think you got to that place? Because I think, you know, you were describing like where you grew up, it was a very tough area to grow up. How do you think you got to that place where you were able to let some of that go and embrace love and embrace forgiveness and embrace empathy?
Seeing people die, seeing my cousins get killed, truthfully, because it's like that's the bitterness.
Yeah.
People getting bitter and shit. Like that's why people die in the hood. Like, you know, like people bitter. Imagine if everyone was loving each other. You know, gangs killing each other. Like my cousin passed away right before my last tour. Like shot broad daylight. Like
sorry.
Niggas don't really understand that shit. And, you know, like if it was like about the bitterness, everyone would be killed. You know, that's why we have war. Like,
yeah.
People are bitter. Like everyone's bitter. Like free Palestine, nigga. Like bitter, just like taking land and shit. Like I don't want to like go too much on that subject. Let's free Palestine, my nigga. Like free Palestine.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I totally agree with you. Like it's so strange because it's like every single war, every single tragedy, everything in life like that is like ends in, unfortunately, like murder, and ends in genocide, and ends in these terrible things. Like it all starts with a simple like a fundamental misunderstanding.
Yeah, bitterness.
Bitterness, exactly. And I think if we could find a way to like embrace the differences in the world, opposed to be like go to war over them, I think that's everything. I think understanding is everything. I mean, this is why like I love this so much. Like I think conversation is it's like square one, root one of solving everything.
Everything.
It's like looking at your neighbor, looking at your friend, looking at your your brother, your sister, your parents, the people around you, and saying like, I don't understand the way that they live, but I'm gonna try to.
Yeah. Then you hate me.
Yeah.
And like I don't like being hated. I don't like I try to spread love. Like I don't hate nobody. Like I honestly don't hate nobody. Like I try to think of anybody that I hated.
Yeah. Like why would you give them that power?
Exactly.
You know?
I'm sorry. That's the only thing that I hate. That's the only thing.
The one exception to the rule.
Like you can put that in the interview too. Like fuck that nigga. Like big fuck that nigga. Next time I see this on site.
The one
last time I seen him, I wanted to be on site, but I didn't do it because I was afraid. Hey. A professional boxer.
Whoa, that's crazy, yo. That's crazy.
Yeah, like so I didn't want to do nothing.
Yeah.
Like, but now I'm ready to fight. So I don't feel no pain.
Shout out to Pops.
Shout out Pops for real. Like that nigga really is. He's funny. He's a cool dude.
Hell yeah.
Like I love my dad. Like I've gotten to know who he was. Like I get mad at him. Like that's normal.
Yeah.
But I love that nigga. Like
that's family though.
That's family.
Yeah.
He's like really beautiful. Like I look like him, kind of. I look better than him.
What do you think is the biggest lesson you've learned from your parents?
My dad is the reason why I am a musician.
Wow.
Well, my mom is the reason why I love music. My dad is the reason why I decided to become a musician in the music industry.
Interesting. Why?
Because one day, like remember in the beginning of the interview, I said I spent 8 months working on music in Pittsburgh with my dad. So in that 8 months, I stayed in the house. I didn't go outside. I went downtown sometimes just to explore the library because I love to read.
Oh, cool.
And like, that's all I did. I wasn't making friends. 9 months, just making music.
Damn.
Probably was on the internet, just like being a troll. You know, that was all I did. You know, like I worked for a magazine at the time. Like it was called Scumbag Magazine. It was in Arizona, and I just remember, just like one day, I just like, it was like late at night. And my dad came in the room, and was like, he was like, something about we got to get up early, bro, like this and that. And but I was like emotional at the time, so I was just like, Dad, I have a question. And he was just like, what? And I'm just like, do you think I'll ever make it in music? And he said, no, you don't have the drive yet. As soon as he said that shit to me, I don't take no for an answer. I was just like,
did he give you that?
I was just like, all right, Dad, bet. I like bought a flight back to Arizona, went back, and then made it. I like consider myself, I made it.
For sure.
I made it.
Yeah.
Like, people know who I am. People know SAIAH. Like, I've done this shit. Like, I've made my rounds. Like, I've had my moments. Like, I'm not a mainstream artist. Like, people think that you need to be a fucking huge artist to make it.
No.
Nigga, like, I keep saying the N-word. I'm sorry. Like, bleep it. But, like, homie, like, I was able to live off my art for 4 years straight. Wow. You know, like I was like, beautiful. I made it. Like I like a good amount of monthly listeners, and I was doing well. Like I just like was able to spend $15,000 on music videos. Like I was able to do that shit. Like I was like, I made it. Like I was able to fund my career. I was able to do this professionally. Like I was just like doing that shit, you know. And I was like, I made it. I don't care if I'm super huge. I made it. I made it out my city. I made it out of here.
That's something to be proud of. That's beautiful.
I was proud of that. And like everything fluctuates. Like numbers fluctuate. Everything fluctuates. I don't give a fuck about that shit. I made it. Yeah. I'm already here. Like I'm already made a stamp of my like on this earth. I made songs that people like listen to like for years. Yeah. People messaging me. People still messaging me like, yo, like you like this song is like the song that I've been listening to for years. You know, like once you impact that one person, that's when you made it. You made it when you impacted one person. Yeah. You made it when you impacted that one kid that never thought they could do it. Like I've had 15-year-old kids hit me up in my DM saying like, yo, like I started making music because of this song. Like I like look at that and I'm like, I made it. Yeah. Because that's all that art is. That's all that art is to me. Is just like if I'm in like if I'm over here impacting this kid or impacting this artist or impacting this person. Like I have this video of do you know Pop Tropical Sluts? Yeah, Pop Tropical
is dope. Somebody actually just hit the DM'd us yesterday and said like you should have Pop Tropical Sluts on.
Bro, so like no, you definitely should. Yeah, those kids dope. Are fucking legendary. Honestly, I love those kids, and I only like they're silly because like one of the kids from like I was seeing him at a club, and he walked up to me and said this. I don't think you understand yet how influential it was to us and to some of our other friends that aren't here right now. But yeah, let me give you something. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hate your guys. I wanna be. Like they were just doing that for 30 minutes straight. And I was just like,
that's crazy.
And I was just like, bro, he like told me like straight up, he was just like, dude, like I was still in high school, barely even doing music, and that's when that project came out, and that's like why I started like doing shit. Like I was just like, damn.
How'd he find it, you know?
I don't know. I was more popping around that time. Like I had like 500,000 monthly listeners, so like it was like kind of like I feel like I was like in the scene, and like I was like friends with like the right people. Overcast like did a lot of my videos back in the day. Like,
big inspiration to me.
Big inspiration. There's a good dudes. Like I loved like freaking Danny. I love like freaking Tommy. Tommy's cool. Like
being part of like that community in the early days, because that's really cool. Because I actually feel like there's a lot of parallels like Pop Chocolate Sluts. Like they are like way newer than obviously that community. Yeah. But like I think if they were around back then, they probably would have fit in there.
They would have had an Overcast video
for sure.
They would have had an Overcast video. Yeah. I feel like just like being at the functions and seeing all the people that like have Overcast videos is crazy. Like I'm just like, oh wait, Alden's right there. You know?
That's it.
And like just like it's really cool like to see like people that like you like came up with kind of like not really coming up with, because like we're not all best friends, but like it's just like seeing like, oh yeah, the homie over there. But
like, you saw them when they weren't doing what they're doing now, which is awesome.
And like me and Tom the Mailman became friends because I was just like hanging out at the Overcast house, because that's all I would go there for an escape, you know. Like that was the place. Like I didn't really like care about getting an Overcast video when I first started hanging out with Overcast. I just liked hanging out with them. Like I love Danny. Cool. Like Danny was like one of my besties growing up. Like we would skate every day together, and like
he's from where you're from?
Yeah, he would pick me up, and like we would just go skating. And like I didn't get an Overcast video until probably like, well, the reason why they hit me up in the first place was to do an Overcast video, but they were trying to do my first ever project. And at the time I was signed to a label. Fuck that label. Fuck Jordan Tamiano. He's a bitch. He was an abusive ass nigga. Let me go back to this shit. Abusive ass nigga. Fuck that nigga. Producer, bro. Like he like fucking signed me when I was 19 and like tried to like keep me in this fucking deal and like traumatize the fuck out of me. Fuck that nigga, like actually. And then like
music industry's weird.
And then he would say the N-word. A white boy saying the N-word from the Chicago.
To you?
Like, yes.
Okay, that's insane.
He would try to say, it was like, he wouldn't say like you're a nigga. Like he's like, what's up, my nigga? Like a fucking little squirrel ass nigga. His name was Squirrel. Like I don't have bitterness in my heart for him, because I just know that nigga is fried, and I send love to him. But like low key, fuck that situation. Fuck that whole period of my life. Like it really like traumatized me, and I really want you to see that. And I want you to like, I hope you're gonna watch this, because this shit's probably gonna be big, huge, whatever. And
the music industry's weird.
The music industry's a funny place. And like, just want you to know that like, thank you for helping me out. Like helping me make a good song and helping me like see like the quality I am. Because when you told me I was talentless, I became talented.
Hell yeah.
I was already talented, but I became more talented.
I feel like situations like that, or even like I mean, speaking of like the contrast between like the Overcast situation, like those dudes versus like parts of the music industry like that. That's why I thought Overcast was so dope as like a kid from the outside watching it. Was because like
good dudes.
It was a community.
It was a good community. They were all good guys. Like,
yeah.
Like shouts out Overcast. Like I saw one of shouts out Lucas too. Like he was actually the person that I used to do my videos with before I did Overcast.
Yeah.
I would just like, because Lucas also lives in the Overcast house, the first one. And then he also moved into the second one. But like Lucas, like I was like, yo, like let's do videos together. And like me and him would do videos with $0.
Wow.
You know, at first. Like
how big like of a difference was the contrast when you said you were able to put like $15,000 into a music video?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was like unbelievable. Like I like would be at these music video shoots like just like dissociative.
Yeah.
Like I would just be like,
what is this for?
What is this for? How much we paid? How much?
Yeah.
And like sometimes like I was talking to Ernest about it recently. He was just like, you low-key shouldn't have been doing that. And I was just like, you right. Low-key I shouldn't have been doing that. But like low-key it was fun to experience that. Like spending that much money on a music video was like, I was trying to make a movie. Like I want to make movies. Like I want to be in movies. Like I want to be an actor in movies. Like I kind of just want to like make it in music and then like become an actor like Will Smith. Like you know, like I want to be like Lenny Kravitz. You know, like I don't know if Lenny Kravitz wasn't Lenny Kravitz in some movies?
I think so.
Yeah, like like Ice Cube. Like it's like people like that. Like I want to impact the music world and I want to go impact the acting world. I want to be a funny actor. I want to be silly. Like you know, like I feel like as like you get older, like I feel like right now I'm just punk emotional, like serious. Like I'm silly, but like kind of more serious, you know. But like as I get older, I want to become more and more silly. I want to be that like that auntie that's like very just like. Not me misgendering myself. I just want to say that real quick. I almost misgendered myself. But like, I want to be like that auntie that like is super silly. Like I have Roro and she's just like always sending me just the silliest things. Yeah. I go over there. She got candy on candy on candy. I remember one time
those are the best aunties.
Literally, and I remember just being over
my
there.
grandma's like that too.
Literally, my grandma's like that too. And like she just have all the candy. Like she be making me all that. She'll make me an apple pie from scratch if I just ask her. And she would just
so
like got
sick.
you.
Yeah.
So like I just want to be that, you know, like I want to be able to be that for like the people around me. Like it's like, especially this, when I get older, like I want to become a music teacher. Yeah. Like I just like when I'm 45, like I want to like have enough money in music to be like, all right, I'm gonna go to school. Not 45, but I want to be like in my 30s. I want to be able to go to school, like in my master's, so I can like be a music teacher out of college. Yeah. Like I want to do that. Like that's like my end goal is to become a music teacher, like have a family, like do all that fun shit. Like I'm not trying to be like that artist is in the 27 club. Like I'm not trying to be that. I'm not trying to preach like self-sabotage. I'm not trying to preach death. I'm not trying to preach that shit. Like niggas need to stop doing that shit in this industry. Like 100%. A lot of kids are fucking dying because of these artists. People don't fucking realize that. I get angry seeing that shit. It makes me sad because like I just lost a fucking friend from drugs. And
I'm
like,
sorry.
Fuck.
No, you're good. Take your time. Take your time. You're all good.
It's just like seeing that being the main thing that like artists find themselves getting into and then losing themselves and then passing away. It's the sad shit ever, bro. Not me crying on an interview.
You're good.
Bro.
It's real though. But it's real though. It's real. It's beautiful.
It's just like, bro, like I'm tired of seeing that shit. Yeah. Like especially like I've seen it a lot growing up, like from Lil Peep, Juice WRLD, like to certain artists passing away from drugs, but like seeing it firsthand from a person that you just talked to probably like a month ago. Sucks. And that's why I do this shit, because like I don't want to influence kids in a way where it's just like, yo, do drugs, self-sabotage, lose your life. Like they could go to school. Like go to school, like find something that you like to do that's not that. Stay away from that shit, because they want you to do that shit and they want you to fucking die. Like
You're all good. Take your time.
Yo, shout out Digigoon, bro. Really, y'all. If y'all watching this interview, bro, stay away from that shit. Please. Please stay away from that shit, bro. If you see your friends doing that shit, make fun of them.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you look stupid. You cracked out. Don't do that shit, bro.
Your
Tell
message
them to
is
stop.
beautiful. Like, thank you for, like, caring. Not enough people care.
This shit's not cool, bro. And I just like see like my closest friends, like people around me doing that shit. And they're just like I ain't no saint. I've done drugs. Like, I ain't no saint, you know. But like, if you have the chance to say stop, please stop. You have the chance to stop. And if you don't have the chance to stop, if you're addicted, please go to rehab if you can afford it. There's programs, there's certain things you can do. Like, just please, like, just care about your life, because there's actually people out there that love you. You never know. I'm sorry, I'm crying so much.
You're good, dude.
Because like a lot of people don't tell you that they love you. Because like it's like we're grown up to like not do that. We're grown up to be very like not emotional. Like
100%.
like our parents grew up to be like, you can't cry, like type shit.
Crying is beautiful.
Crying is beautiful.
It's a release. I give you a hug.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for that hug.
Of course.
That's real love right there, y'all. That's real love.
Hugs
Above
are,
the bridge.
Hugs are like the I'm gonna clip that, make that intro. That's real love. I think hugs are the closest thing we have to like Prozac, you know, in like a good way.
Nah, facts. Give your friend a hug, bro. If you see your friend struggling, bro, just give him a hug.
Doesn't make you weak.
If you haven't talked to somebody in a long time and you know you love them, like, let them know you love them. Because a lot of people don't know that you love them.
That's strength. I think that the strongest people I've ever met are the people in life that are willing to be emotionally vulnerable, are the people that are like willing to let other individuals that they know that they love them. So I mean, either to love them or to just like let people know how you feel. If you're scared for someone, tell them you're scared, you know, like say I love you.
Yeah, and I feel like I fucked up because I remember messaging Bella and I was just like, yo, like, I was like, we should check up on them.
Yeah.
And I just regret not checking up on them myself because I was so in my own world. Because I know Bella was checking up on them, but I didn't. And I feel like I should have.
Holding that guilt is something you can't do forever, you know?
I won't hold that guilt.
Yeah.
I know I won't hold that guilt, but I just like, I know that I do wish I said something.
Of course, yeah.
You know, like, so that's why I'm saying it now, bro. Like, I'm trying to live for them. Like, that's what we talked about. Like, everybody's like in our friend group has been like, we gotta live for them.
100%.
We gotta do this. That's like why I'm here. Like,
yeah.
That's what we gotta do this shit, bro. Like, we gotta preach the word.
There's things you can learn, unfortunately, and of course it's terrible, but the people who leave us behind, we have to remember them through the lessons they taught us. Yes. You know, not through the bad moments, not through the tough moments, but through the things that they taught us. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing that can come from loss, is learning and experience. And it's like each day we're a little bit better, you know, for the people that we care about.
And trust me, I've lost a lot.
Yeah.
Especially this last year. Like,
I'm
losing
sure.
a $500,000 deal from breakups to losing friends to like losing myself for a little bit. Like, I learned a lot.
But I think it's probably what's made you so strong, you know? And as you continue, those lessons are what make you into who you are. It's, I think, each little bit, kind of what I was talking about with the rock. It's like it chisels away a little bit, you know, until you're left with like a strong shell of a person that like is okay being emotionally vulnerable and understands loss and understands sacrifice and hard work and all these things that like we think should be innate. And a lot of times they are, you know, but they're beat out of us. Like, I agree with you. It's difficult. Like, I feel like they don't want you to be able to like make something of yourself, to not be a part of this system, to like actually be like in control of your own money, in control of yourself, in control of your resources. It's so much easier to just do none of that. But it's like, from the people we leave behind, that's I think what we have to learn, that like life is malleable. You can turn yourself into anything you want to be,
We're all human. That's the funny thing. Everybody you could Amber Lucid tells me walk around I'm sorry, I was crying, so I have hiccups now. But Amber Lucid told me, walk around saying you a legend. Just walk around saying you a legend. If you want to be a legend, walk around saying you a legend. Yeah. Shout out Amber Lucid.
Yeah. Well, I do truly believe, like...
Also, what time is it?
11:08.
11:08. I do have to leave very soon.
What time?
Like in the next 5 minutes.
Okay, no worry. We wrap it up. Don't worry, it's all good. Last thing I'll ask you then, because this has been a beautiful conversation, my friend. Like, thank you for your vulnerability. This is like impactful to me very much so, and I value it.
Thank you for having me on this show.
Of course.
I didn't mean to start crying.
It's
especially at the end of the interview. Like,
it's okay.
The finale.
No, it's okay. If there was one message you could leave behind from your music once you're gone, or once you finish making music, or whatever it is, what would that message be?
I love you. That's all.
That's beautiful.
And remember to love your friends and love your family. But I love you.
That's beautiful. I love you. And I love that. That's amazing. That's everything. Love is everything.
It is.
Love is how we continue, I think.
Very true. Love is the only way we survive. If we didn't have love, most of us wouldn't be eating.
Yeah.
If people didn't know how to cook out of love, people wouldn't be having nourishment. Love is life.
What do you have coming out? Where can they find you? Where can they follow you? Where can they stream everything SAIAH? I
love you say is my Instagram. My TikTok is the same. My Twitter is I love you SAIAH. You can find me on Spotify as SAIAH. I'm coming out with 3 projects this year, maybe 4. You never know, but I'm gonna have a lot of fun. I'm not gonna stop releasing. This is a year of releasing. I'm giving every single thing from Rue to Face, and there's a little one called Pretty Little Slow Tornado. I'm gonna say it on this interview.
Hell yeah!
Shout out Jack LeBeau, that's my nigga.
Shout out Jack.
Shout out Jack Kobe. Shout out all the Jacks, Sensu Jack. Shout out, who else should I shout out before I end this? Shout out Bella. Shout out Bella. Bella. You feel me? Shout out Curtis Waters. I know. I love that
Curtis?
Guy. Yeah, I love Curtis. He's like, I just talked to him. Hey,
I love Curtis, man.
Shout out Curtis.
He was on the show a couple months ago. Curtis,
that's actually cool as fuck.
One of my favorite people in the world.
That's actually cool. Yeah, he was the first person I was hanging out with out here.
That's sick. He's such a sweetheart.
Such a sweetheart. Yeah. Who else should I shout out? Who else has been here for me in this lifetime? Shout out my mom. I haven't talked to her in a month, but I hope she's okay. Shout out my pops. Shout out my sister for show. That's my nigga. Shout out. I gotta shout out a couple more people before we go.
Do it.
Shout out a couple more people.
Let them know.
Shout out y'all. Shout out.
Thank you
for having me on this.
Thank you for coming.
Shout out Estelle.
Thank
you for shouting me out. I love you, Estelle. I know we haven't talked in a bit, but I love you, Estelle. Shout out. Who else? Damn, who else has been here for me, man? Who was all at my birthday? Shout out Digi, R.I.P. I won't remember you, yo. Damn, who else was at my birthday party? Who? Shout out Joy. That's all. Who like? That's like I'm shouting those people out because like that was the hardest time of my life. Like a very hard time in my life. My birthday was a very hard day. Shout out everybody that was at my birthday party. If you know, you know. Yeah. So, shout out Kyler. Shout out Kaylee. Shout out Zion. Shout out Kush Wilkes. Shout out. Let me keep going. Spit on him. Yo, y'all should check out the Pittsburgh scene. Shout out Kush Wilkes. Actually, go check out my cousins out. They really doing that shit. They come from the slums. My brother just got out of jail, bro. Gotta like give him some love, you know. Like we gotta make his dreams happen. Make his dreams happen for real. If y'all watching this interview, make his dreams happen. Make my dreams happen. Make everybody's dreams happen.
Everybody.
We in this together.
Beautiful.
But thank you guys so much.
Thank you, my friend. That was beautiful. I really appreciate you. Alrighty. Music matters. Thank you.
Music matters.